That ain't sand. That is straight up metal. What's up YouTube? Crafting Cards are happy Tuesday. Now in today's video, as you may have guessed, we're working on this B16 here. If you missed it, in my last video, we pulled this B16 block in GSR tranny out of my Civic over here. So in today's video, I'm going to see how far I can get pulling this thing apart piece by piece. Alright, so before I start digging into the block, I'm going to pull off this transmission. It's pretty straightforward. Just got to take off this tranny bracket here, followed by the starter. And you don't have to pull off the slave cylinder when you're doing this, but I'm going to do it just so I don't bang it up. And then after you get all that off, just take it off with these 17mm bolts, the really big ones, and then go all the way around the block. And then you get a couple coming from the back side. But it's pretty straightforward, so let's get into it. Alright, so I got everything I needed off. Should be good to go to pull this transmission off. Now, Honda provides you with a couple tabs that should allow you to kind of pry the transmission off of the block. I don't know if I have that big of a pry bar around here. I might just start hammering at these tabs with like a dead blow hammer and just kind of wiggling around until it separates, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, usually it's just you kind of pry at these tabs all the way around the tranny and eventually it pops off. I've gotten them before just by wiggling it, so we'll see what we can do. Going. Now when I pulled the tranny off, you might have noticed the intermediate shaft came off with it. Usually that doesn't happen because the outer race of this bearing right here is usually a nice press fit into this bracket here. It might be because this is not OEM, it's aftermarket intermediate shaft for higher horsepower applications, but I don't know, so I should be able to pound this thing out still. Yeah, I'll leave them together for now. And I'll show you how to separate them on the block. There is one more thing I want to do on this transmission though before we move over to the block, and that's take off the shift linkage. It's pretty easy, it's just a bolt and a pin, but that roll pin inside there is kind of a bitch to take out. So I think the easiest way is going to be flip this thing 180 degrees so we get a better look at it. So I'm going to remove this bolt, remove this clip here, and then hammer out that pin right there. Shift linkage is separated. Close enough. Alright, so now we got the transmission removed, it moved out of the way. I can focus on stripping down the block now. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is take off this pressure plate, clutch, and flywheel. Then we'll move over to the back of the block and I'll take over this intermediate shaft we were talking about. Take off this water pipe here and these water and heater hoses. These crankcase breather hoses that used to go up to my catch can. The alternator, oil filter, and then oil T sensor and turbo feed line. And after I get all that done, we should be able to tilt the block on its side and then I'll try to take the oil pan off. So, here's the clutch. As you can see, still has plenty of life left. You can almost still see the ACT branding that used to be on it there. Only about 450 miles on this bad boy. Barely even broken in yet. Then here's the pressure plate. Still looks pretty nice, pretty clean. This isn't all grooved up. This can be reused, but I'm gonna go for a higher horsepower rating and higher torque rating clutch the next time around. So I'll probably go ahead and sell these bad boys on Facebook Marketplace. But I really like that clutch while it was in there. Very smooth, very daily drivable. So take this pressure plate off. Looks like we got some 12-point boys there. This might be like 19mm 12-pointers. All right, so as you can see, we're making some good progress and staying organized. At this point, we're gonna take the block, tilt it forward. I'm gonna pull all the nuts and studs off the pan, pull the gasket, and this will be our first look at any possible bottom end damage. Alright, so as you can see, we're making a hell of a mess here. There's still a little bit of oil in the block and coolant and everything, and the gasket's coming off in chunks, but we're going to keep moving forward. Got the pan off. There's some sparkles in the pan, but I'll show you that later. Right now, I'm kind of want to keep moving forward, take the pickup tube off, and take the windage tray off. Oh my God. So pretty much right underneath where all the rods kind of sit, you got these trails of, I don't know if you can see that very good, just metal chips. Just straight up bearing material. Hopefully not crankshaft material, but we'll see. Oh, let's see if they're knocking. They feel tight. I don't know. Usually you can kind of wiggle them back and forth and you can kind of hear them knocking around. So it might be the main bearings. Who knew? So while I'm cleaning all that extra oil out of the block, let's take a closer look at this windage tray and oil pan. Try to get it in focus here for you. So if you see these streaks here that look kind of like sand, that ain't sand. That is straight up metal. Let's check out that oil pan. So it's kind of hard to tell. I've got a bright light shining in there. You still can't really see it. It's pretty fine. But all those little chunks there that kind of look like little pieces of sand or something, if you get up close to them, sometimes you can kind of see a metallic shine. It's hard to tell, but they're there. Yeah, most of the damage you can see on this pan or on this windage tray. And as I'm cleaning up here, I would really like to pull the crankshaft out, but I gotta take the crank pulley off first and it's held on by that crank pulley bolt that's like 190 foot-pounds. And as some of you know, that's a real bitch to get off. So I don't have an impact gun strong enough for me to get that off today, and I don't really have anybody to help me, put a couple breaker bars on it and try to snap it loose. So that's gonna have to wait till next episode. And I'm gonna finish cleaning up here. I think I'm gonna take the block, lift it up on my desk. So guys, that's all the content I got for you today. Thanks for sticking to the end. Make sure to stay tuned for next Tuesday when I'm going to be pulling all the internals out of the engine. We're going to be taking a good look at the main bearings, the rod bearings, as well as the oil pump to see if we can find where all this damage is taking place and why I lost so much oil pressure. And also a big shout out to all the recent subscribers we've gotten. Keep passing up our goals. I think right now we're around like 430 something subscribers, which is huge. We were joking about making like a 420 subscriber special. And so maybe stay tuned. That video might be popping up pretty soon here. So stay tuned for that. And if you haven't yet, make sure you're checking out Gideon's builds on the BRZ, the go-kart, and everything like that. That's all I got for you today. And thanks for tuning in to Crafting Cars. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends. And leave a comment down below. Thank you. Bye-bye.